Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. And now, it's time!
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to this edition of EastKnows in the first segment of EastKnows Combat Sports. I'm East, and today we are covering UFC 285. I love big fights, and I've actually broke down some fights previously. However, this is my first time getting back into it, and yeah, it's super exciting. And since I love big fights, what bigger fight to do than the return of Jon Jones versus Gane. This is going to be super exciting. We got two heavyweights, and Jon is new to the heavyweight division. He's fighting for legacy, pound for pound greatest of all time. So this is just definitely going to be one for the ages. This is one of those types of fights that really just defines the legacy of one man or the other. Gane has the chance to come in and knock off Jon Jones, and also claim to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of today. And so it's just a lot of different variables here that make this fight very interesting, fun, and exciting. And I think it's going to be a great fight. I actually do. Definitely a chess match. I don't think it's going to be a barn burner brawl, but definitely a chess match. And if you're into combat like me, you're definitely going to enjoy it. Definitely check out the channel in the future. I love to talk about boxing, MMA, kickboxing, so anything combat sports. If you're a fan, join in with me. So without further ado, let's hop into this tale of the tape. So if you're wondering, by the way, why I waited until now, like basically a day to make the content, basically for a couple reasons. One, I wanted to really get to see how they engage with each other, what the back and forth were going to be, hear more about the mindset of the fights, because that's so important going into the cage. Two, because I wanted to make sure the fight was actually going to happen. I didn't want to see any injuries occur. I didn't want to hear about any, drug allegations. What did Gustafson say?
It doesn't matter if it's on rocket fuel or whatever.
Right, rocket fuel. So I didn't want any of that type of thing, and then I just wanted, it was important for me to actually see them together, to see the size that Jon had now that he's bigger, and see what they look like standing next to each other. It looks like Jon's a bit taller. I'm not sure if it's the shoes they have or if Jon's actually 6'4" and Gane's only 6'3", but yeah, he definitely looks a little bit shorter. This fight's very interesting. I think that, so I'll give two types of ways I think the fight could go, and I'll tell you which one is the way I predict it to go. So first of all, with Gane, like we said, he has the advantage when it comes to an aesthetic and a movement as a kickboxer from the stand-up. I think that he could circle around Jon, getting a lot of points, gauging to figure out how to get in, and then once he does, probing with leg kicks and quick jabs. I think that's where he will be able to assert himself, definitely rack up some points, get ahead on the scorecard over rounds while Jon is still trying to figure some things out. And then from there, Kimura, something like that. So I think that's where he can definitely hurt Jon. Now that's how I think Gane could win the fight. However, what I really think will happen is that Gane will probably lose to Jon Jones. And the reason I think that, and the way I think this fight's gonna go, is because of Jon's power and his reach. I think during the fight, Jon, who is a genius, is gonna be very methodical about how he approaches the fight. He's gonna use his arms to keep a nice distance. That's gonna be his main defense. With that, he will look to probe. He will throw some jabs to keep his distance. He will control the wrist, often disguising his jabs as wrist control. And then he will also use his infamous knee kicks. So he'll use some front kicks to kick Gane in the knee, keeping him at distance, and using leg kicks to take Gane's legs away from him so he can't move as much. So he's definitely going to do a lot of probing, a lot of feints, throwing maybe some sneaky stuff here and there just to really wow the crowd and get the judges on his side. Once he hurts Ciryl Gane, or he makes Ciryl Gane feel his power and Ciryl Gane has to back away, he's gonna go to the cage, put his back to the cage, and there John will look to control his wrist, clinch like we talked about earlier. And in that clinch, I believe that's where it's gonna be where John's really able to assert himself. He's gonna be able to hold his elbows here, or excuse me, hold his wrists here, and then be able to fire across with some elbows. He'll be able to throw his knees. He'll be able to lock him up, do a lot of different things. Once he hurts Ciryl Gane there, he'll likely shoot for takedown or look for some type of trip, take him to the mat, and there he will assert himself with basically a dominant ground and pound game. And I believe either the referee will stop it from a ground and pound, or he'll stop the fight from submission, some type of choke. I think John will be able to choke him out if he gets into the ground. So one of those two things will likely happen. I don't know how the fights or when the fight's gonna end. I don't know if it's I can't predict a round just because I'm not sure how their endurance is gonna be during this fight, as well as how fast paced they're gonna come out. Both of these guys are slower paced, right? They like to take their time, figure stuff out, unless they just know that they can win right away. They like it. So since this is going to be a bit of a chess match, this fight's definitely going to be a chess match. So with this being a chess match, if I had to predict a round, it would be 4th or 5th, one way or the other. But I really do believe that the scenario I laid out for Jon Jones is likely how it goes. So what do y'all think about this fight? How do you think the fight's gonna go? Do you agree with my fight analysis, with my fight prediction? Do you see the fight going a totally different way? Definitely comment. Let's have some discussion in the comment section. I love hearing back from you guys. And yeah, definitely comment, like, share, subscribe as usual. This is EastKnows. I can't wait to see the results of UFC 285. And thanks for tuning in. See you next time.
Vicious knee to the body and an uppercut.
Left hand to the body, right knee to the head. And there you go, the youngest champion in UFC history.